What in the 20s is going
in the
on?
20s?
Think about
The 20s, baby. Plenty.
What in the 20s is
I am here for my
20s, baby? This is the 20s.
Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Zamam Kize, and this is What's in the 20s, a podcast where you listen to me grow through it, baby. Again, for those who didn't listen in my previous episode, I am going to be hosting a live podcasting show with Spotify on the 25th of October at Victoria Yards. I am looking forward to this so much. Please, let's gather. Let's enjoy the space together. Let's meet each other. Let's have conversations. You know, I am looking forward to kind of just bonding with you guys, sharing stories or listening to, really more than anything. I'm looking forward to listening. I feel like it's always me talking and sharing and all the rest. But like, yeah, I think I'm more excited and like humbled to kind of like be in your space, if that makes sense. Because I think I learn so much from the people who I meet and who are around me and the things that you guys have to share and say and stuff like that. And so, yeah, like I'm really looking forward to like being in your guys' energy and everything. Yeah, I think it's great if it's like if we're able to do like an exchange, because like, yeah, episode after episode, I feel like it's just me on my side, just like telling you what's in my head and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I think this is so great because this gets to be like a community that we're doing, you know, like the people in our 20s were just like, oh, what actually is going on here and stuff. And I think I created this podcast, because I was struggling, you know, in my 20s, and I was just trying to navigate it. I was trying to piece things together. I didn't know what was going on. And you guys really have been like the impetus as to like what just inspired me to just keep going, just reading stories and comments and, you know, DMs of like what you guys were experiencing and stuff. And I just wanted to, I don't know, I guess find a way to help or say something about it and everything. And yeah, I feel so touched and really impacted. And to be able to do this and share the space with you, please bring anyone and everyone that you know, someone that you know that would really, I guess, find fruit from being in that space, you know, with all of us. Yeah, I'm so grateful that I get to do this. And I think that's also why I created this episode, which is Fear of Greatness. And I'll get into that now. But like, yeah, I think my first episode that I released in the studio, I was speaking about like stepping into the light, right? Coming out of the shadows, and how it just feels like I'm being called and pulled into more spaces and stuff. Like I need to stop hiding, you know, because I'm so used to hiding. I'm so used to just kind of being enough here. But now that I'm being called to like, you know, actually put myself out there and, you know, see you and stuff like that. It's so important to me. I think it's so important to my journey. I think it's just going to make me better at what I do. It's going to just be more fulfilling and more rewarding, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, I think that's why I've particularly been so blessed and grateful that the 25th of October is happening. I cannot wait to see you. Please get your tickets. I will leave a link in the description box below. And you can also just find out on my Instagram at zay.mkize and Spotify. Yeah, everything will be there, the details and stuff. But like, yeah, I really cannot wait. On today's episode, we will be discussing fear of greatness. And this was something that I didn't realize that I struggled with, you know, because I always felt as though I'm ambitious, you know, I always felt as though there are things that I want and dreams that I have and things that I'm looking forward to and stuff. So it didn't make sense to me, the idea that I actually had fear of doing more, fear of being more, fear of actually just accepting more in my life, you know. I think that, as I always kind of say, like I am quite shy when you first meet me, or when it comes to certain things or doing certain things. Like I overthink a lot, you know. I overthink like how things are going to turn out, if I'm going to be giving my best at it and all the rest, how you are going to receive me and all the rest. And so I struggle with just like hitting things with the ground running and just like coming out there, putting myself out there and just sharing myself and all the rest. It's like something that I always have to think through and piece together like strategically and everything. And so because I would be so shy and stuff, I wouldn't take risks, you know, I wouldn't put myself forward for things and stuff like that, even though I had the ambition, even though I had the desire, even though I knew that like I wanted to be in that position or in that place. I wanted that anointing, or that appointment and stuff like that. But I would just get so nervous, man. And I think sometimes I'd even say things like I'm overwhelmed, like it's too stressful. It's too stressful to be doing this and be doing that and be trying out for this or whatever. And I know that we do that, right? Like we just be like, oh, this is so scary. We get so overwhelmed by the idea that we could be accepting a higher promotion, the idea of we could be, going into bigger spaces, doing bigger things and stuff like that. And because we're just so comfortable in our little corner of the earth, that's something that like, I know that when I get so comfortable, it's really stressful for me to do more, to accept certain gigs and stuff like that, because I'm just like, yo. You ever just get that feeling like me, and all the rest? It's even, I think sometimes it could even come with relationships. Like I know there are a lot of people who don't believe that they're the type of person to be loved, to be chosen, to be wanted and stuff. And so when they receive that, or somebody is showing that they have interest in them, it feels so crazy. It's like, what? Me? Like you want to pour your love and time and attention and all of that into me? Like that's crazy. Like that's, and it feels so daring to accept that. And that's why a lot of people don't even pursue relationships and stuff like that, because you feel like you can't believe it. You can't believe what someone is saying to you. If they say that they care about you, they like you, they want you, or whatever it is. You don't believe if somebody is showing acts of kindness or love and generosity and stuff. You always feel like there's a hidden agenda. You always feel like it's going to end at some point. Always, like your experiences in your past has taught you that you shouldn't trust this and stuff like that. And so it feels really scary to take that risk. It feels really scary to take that step, to take that leap and go for it. I think that when you have a fear of failing too, it takes over. It takes over a lot, because you just hold yourself back from trying things out, from agreeing to things and stuff like that, because you don't want to suck. To put it like bluntly and stuff, you don't want to fail at this. You don't want people to witness you struggling through this, witness you not doing well at this. And what happens is we start creating excuses, right? I know I'll say things like, I'm sorry, I can't accept this offer. I just don't have the time. Like time is always that thing, right? Sorry, I can't attend this thing. I won't be able to do this, whatever it is. I don't have the time. I'm just caught up with this thing, that thing, whatever it is. But the truth is, I'm just not making myself available. I'm just not making the time to do it and stuff like that, because it feels too overwhelming for me or scary or whatever it is. And so I will convince myself, I'll truly believe that what the excuse I'm giving makes sense to me, because in the moment, it doesn't feel like an excuse. It feels like, honestly, it feels like what makes sense. Like, somewhere where you're going to find the time to do this, that time I know that there is I could create time if I wanted to, it's just that I maybe perhaps I don't feel deserving of the opportunity or something, or I don't feel ready for it or something like that, we can create an excuse like I don't have the money, the reason I'm not starting this thing that I've always wanted to start, or going to this place, or doing this thing that I've always so deeply wanted. The reason I'm not, pursuing a relationship or whatever is because I don't have the money for it. Relationships require money. Businesses require money. To start this, needs money. There was a reason I delayed starting a podcast for years and years and years, because I was like, I don't have the money to get the equipment. I don't have money to get a mic. And like, I was just like, oh, where would I even, begin, etc., etc. So I get overwhelmed and I get stuck by the whole where would I, how would I, this and that, instead of actually putting in action, instead of actually creating a plan to do so, instead of actually putting like a, you know what I'm saying, putting myself in a position to work towards it. I would just get stuck in the whole, oh, I don't have. You say things like, I don't have resources, I don't have equipment, I don't have the networks, I don't know the people, I don't, and those were all things, especially if I speak about this podcast, that I didn't have starting out. I always say that like I just started recording on my phone, and didn't know anyone, I didn't have anything, and now I get to tell you that like we're going to be doing a live show together. It's really insane. But like, yeah, that's the thing. It's like we get so caught up in our excuses, and it's really so easy to do that. Like I always felt like because I don't have a camera, because I don't have this and that, because like I can't be a YouTuber and all the rest, because of this and that. And we just get, I don't know what that fear is that holds us back from just like saying, let's just do it. let's just do it now. Let's just get this now. And let's just, it always feels like other people are fortunate because they have that. But I don't know. I've come to learn there are a lot of people who have these, quote unquote, equipments and resources and stuff like that, but they're not making the best use of it, and that's when you really learn that like it's not all of these things are added features to your talent, added features to your skills, added features to what you have to offer, but you are the product, you are the service and stuff like that. And I think that if you miss out on that and you wait so long for everything else to come to you, you might be waiting for the rest of your life and realize that the reason, the only person you have to blame for not achieving your dreams is you. The only person you have to blame for not actually achieving your goals and venturing out on something, it really is you, because you waited so long for the world as if they owed you something, as if everybody else around you or whatever it is owes you the things that you require to be able to do the things that you want to do, and I think that sometimes I would get so caught up in my fears and all the rest that I wouldn't believe that I guess the power is in me, that I have everything or I am everything I need, and I'm not trying to say this as like some, cliche motivational quote type of a thing. Like I'm genuinely speaking of what was my experience, like what happened to me and stuff. And I think sometimes we may look at somebody else and think, oh, just because it happened for them doesn't mean what happened for me and things like that. Or, their journey is different or whatever, but I think it's like, why can't you be included in that? Like, why do we think just because there's so many creators out there, the world doesn't need one more, because you have something different to offer. There's something that you are able to do that there will be people in the community that will resonate with that and gravitate towards you. But sometimes we get so overwhelmed thinking that the industry is so saturated, that there's so much going on, that there's no point in trying, there's no point in pursuing and stuff like that. And I think that's what a lot of people are counting on, right? They're counting on your self-doubt. They're counting on you to lowball yourself. They're counting on you to give up on yourself so that certain people can stay in the positions that they're at. Certain people can stay in power or whatever it is. But the real trick, or you know what I'm saying, is like realizing that there's enough for all of us to go around, there's enough success for all of us to go around. There's enough space, and the illusion that people have created that like, oh, we don't need another one, just do something else or whatever it is. I think it's really suffocating people, because you're now sitting with this dream and this conviction inside of you and you don't know what to do with it, and you're getting discouraged by thinking that there's no space for you and that you shouldn't try out, or you know what I'm saying. And I think that's going to hold you back from so much. Like, create space for you, like tell yourself that you're deserving and worthy of these things that are happening. And I think that for me, what I learned was that the underlying truth of why I was really saying no to things or really holding myself back from things and stuff, it was because like I didn't want what was required of me, to be in that space. I didn't want the responsibility that would come from being in certain spaces. So when I say responsibility, I'm talking about like, now I know that if I'm saying I'm a podcaster, it means I need to release every single week, like I have a responsibility to make sure that I plan episodes, that I show up, that I am consistent, that I have work ethic, what I'm saying? It's like all of those things that are required to be in that position. I felt like, I'm not ready. I didn't want that, and I think that we do that a lot. Some people run away from relationships because they don't want the responsibility of having to be committed, committed to a partner, to show up for a partner, to have to listen to them, buy things, pay for things or whatever it is. They don't want the responsibility of actually being a good person to someone reliable. Sometimes I feel like I would not want to be a friend that my friends could count on, because that would mean I need to be reliable. That would mean that every time they need something or whatever it is, I need to make myself available. And so it sounds so dark to say out loud right now, but I think that's the truth a lot of us feel. We fear being close to people because we don't want the responsibility attached to it. We don't we don't want to be, I think sometimes it would overwhelm me if I felt like too many people were counting on me, because now I would try my best to show up for everybody. I would try my best to be the best version of myself to everybody and all the rest. And it's exhausting sometimes. So I'd always feel like maybe just kind of keep a distance, a healthy distance So no one makes me their first thoughts and stuff. But like that's not great, because like in order for people to be a great friend to you, you need to be a great friend to them. In order for people to show up for you, you need to be able to be someone you need to be someone who shows up for them. It needs to be reciprocal and mutual effort. And I think that's the thing. It's like we run away from certain positions and stuff like that. It could even be in the workspace and stuff, because now you know that people need to report to you. People are now looking to you for leadership, right? People are now looking to you for answers, for guidance and stuff. And sometimes we fear taking that role. We fear what that looks like. And so we hold ourselves back from certain appointments. We hold ourselves back from certain promotions and blessings and all the rest. And we say, no, not for me, not today, not this, not that, And yeah, I think it's so crazy to think about that. Some people are afraid of being perceived, afraid of becoming, I don't know, I guess maybe famous or popular and all the rest. And so they don't pursue certain ventures and stuff like that. And there's so many things that like is really sitting at the underlying truth of why we make excuses like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the resources, I don't have the this, I don't have the that, It's because really we fear what it would take from us to be in those spaces. We fear who we would have to become, because of we're being challenged to grow into a next level of glory. We're being challenged to grow into a better version of ourselves, a bigger version of ourselves. We're being challenged to give more of ourselves, like we're being challenged to take up more space and do more. And it feels scary and daunting, and almost like we love being lazy. We love the fact that we don't have to answer to anyone or whatever it is. We love the fact that we can just be comfortable and do nothing and chill here with the little that we have. We love the fact that this feels enough for us. And so sometimes, even though we have this desire to want more, because we're too comfortable, we get trapped, and we kind of just feel like, nah, maybe this is good enough for me. And I get it. I understand it so much. I felt like that immediately when I got approached with the opportunity to now take the podcast to video format. I was so comfortable with people not seeing me. I was so comfortable with the cover of my podcast doesn't even have my face on it. I don't really take a lot of pictures also. I'm not someone who's actively showing myself out in public. And so I thought this was so stressful for me to come and sit in front of a camera and stuff, because I'm like, oh my gosh, now people are going to see me and stuff like that. And I had to get over it. I had to get over that fear and all the rest, because it was more important for me that I fulfill my purpose. It was more important to me that I also allow growth and change and all of that to happen in me. And I think sometimes when we hold ourselves back and stuff, we miss out on everything that we can become. We miss out on everything that we can grow into. We also miss out on things we never even thought could happen for us, things we never even thought, were available to us, because we were so busy still operating at a certain level. But like, there's so much more and so much different and stuff that happens when we open ourselves up to more, when we open ourselves up to the world and to people and stuff like that. And I think that we shouldn't waste our time, When I say we shouldn't waste time, I mean like, don't live as if you don't do this now, there will always be later when you can come back to it. There will always be a time in the future where you can say yes and stuff like that. I think we shouldn't do that, we shouldn't waste opportunities. We shouldn't think that just because this opportunity, we've said no to it, there wouldn't be another one coming around or whatever it is. These opportunities are gearing themselves towards you because they feel like you are prepared to take them on. These opportunities found you because I believe that what's yours is yours, and what's yours is always on its way to you and arrives to you. So like, I don't think that you should be saying things like no when you know that you're being called to this thing, I don't think you should be, I guess, disqualifying yourself from certain blessings, from an anointing. Some of us are really anointed, some of you, let me say, but like, you're really anointed, you have an anointing on your life, and I think that because you're so afraid to take that on, you waste it, you waste the fact that you're brought here to have an impact or to bring a change or to do this or whatever it is. And I think that it's you need to understand that people with an anointing have this ability of having favor upon their life. And by that, I mean, like, it goes back to the opportunities thing. Opportunities keep finding a way to reach them because they have been called to the things that they do, you know? And I think just don't waste these moments, man. Don't waste your skills. Don't waste your talents. You know, I think you've worked so hard to acquire certain skills. You've worked so hard to have this degree. You know, you went to school, you did this and all of that kind of stuff. You deserve this. That's what I'm really trying to instill in you. I think a lot of us feel so undeserving of certain things that may come into our lives and stuff like that. But it's like you've earned this, you know, and you have the talent, you have the capabilities, you have everything you need to become everything you want, you know? And I think that we can get so caught up in just sidelining ourselves. I know that I can. I know that I still, till this day, do that. I still make excuses for why I shouldn't be in certain spaces. And I think that if I, you know, really start putting those fears and everything behind me, I'd realize, like, you know, how much is available to me, you know, how much I can actually just really, how much out of life I can really get out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, how much joy I could get out of life and experiences and all of that. Like, I think there's so much for me to do. And I'm always just thinking, next time, or next round, or next person, next thing. But what if there is no next, you know? Like, what if this is it? This is your moment. This is your season and stuff. So really take full ownership of that. Take pride in what you're doing, in who you are. Have, like, full confidence, you know, that you're meant to be in this space and doing this thing, and enjoy, man. Enjoy this experience, you know. And that's what I'm really trying to learn to do. That's what I am putting my efforts into, my trust into, that, like, I'm going to create a life for myself where I just say yes more, you know, where I just believe in myself more and trust that I will carry myself through. I think I want you to trust that you will carry yourself through. Do not fear greatness. I'm thinking about this one time when I don't know, a video of mine was going viral on social media, and my mom saw how many views it was getting, and she called me. She was so scared, and she was like, Summer, like, are you ready for that? Are you okay? Like, this is so scary. She was getting overwhelmed. Like, she could not understand, or like, what was happening and stuff. And that's the thing. It's like, you get so, you know, you can't believe when good things, whatever is happening, you know, for you, and you feel like, what, you know? But like, I think you should just allow yourself to step into it, and you'd be shocked to see just how equipped you are to handle it. You know, everything in life has been preparing you for these moments. So just take it on, enjoy it. And as always, I'm sending my love. Goodbye.
What in the 20s is going
in the 20s
on?
here? The 20s, baby.
What in the 20s is going on?
I am here for my
20s, baby. This is the 20s.